Hi everyone. I hope you can all see me and hear me there. Hi, hello everyone. I can see quite a lot of people have joined us today. Hi Amir, hi. Who else is there? Vibha, hi. Darshit, and everybody else, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Who might be calling me at this hour? Anyways, let's just wait for a couple of minutes for more people to join in and we'll begin. Sunil, hi. Jatin, hi. Okay, so more and more people joining in. Hello, everyone. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Hi, Rahul, Satendra, hi. Gaurav, hi. Great to see such an exciting response from all of you. So many people have joined us. When it really excites me because I see so many AR, VR enthusiasts out there. Uh, People in India, it's 10:30 p.m. You are still, enthused enough to join a webinar. People outside India, it must be either early morning or late morning for all of you. I welcome everyone here in this webinar session. Excellent, more of you coming in. Let's just give it one more minute, guys, so that all of us are here. At least all the punctual ones are here. Excellent. Yeah, so all of you who've joined us with the last few seconds for your thing, so we are just waiting for one more minute for more people to join in because I can see the index rolling very fast and more people are joining in. So let's give a chance to everybody to kind of fill up the room and we can have more and more people interacting with us. So just one more minute, guys. Bear with me. Excellent. More people joining in. All right. I think we should start now. I can see a lot of you have joined in. So, welcome again, everyone, to this webinar on AR and VR. I'm Praful Mathur. I'm the co-founder of Queplin, which is a company very focused on AR and VR, and we help a lot of enterprises, corporates, and startups alike in their endeavor to join the AR VR, uh, AR VR race, to say. Karnika, hi, yeah, welcome. What are you saying? No, you can just view. That's all right. If you can hear me and if you can see me on the screen with the presentation, you are good to go. So yeah, so as I was saying, I am being helped by my teammates Mac and Shubham, who are with us, and all the team has put together this webinar and a presentation for all of you. So yeah, as I said, so we deal in augmented and virtual reality, and we are judged as one of the top ranked AR/VR platform providers by Clutch, which is a global ranking authority. We've showcased our platforms in Mobile World Congress Barcelona. Quickly, I'll take you to today's agenda. What we'll cover today is an introduction to AR, VR, and MR, and what differentiates all of them. Some market statistics, examples, and then we'll do a more deeper dive into how AR helps retail and manufacturing, marketing, entertainment, and in these industries. And then finally, we'll talk about um, a benefit versus complexity analysis of AR and various use cases of AR. And at the end, we'll have a short Q&A session where I'll welcome questions from all of you. Quickly, why? See, again, it's very exciting for me to get into AR and VR precisely because I'll tell you why I'm excited about this technology. I compare it a lot with how the world was way back in 2007 and 2008 when mobile was disrupting everything. So if you see, mobile was the last consumer display that we had in the market. That was the last screen that came out, or last successful screen that came out, which has taken the world by completely disrupted the market. Everybody is on mobiles now. Everything is happening on mobiles now, smartphones to be precise. And augmented and virtual reality are kind of now upping the ante, wherein this is now another level of display which is right there in front of the consumer. If you compare it with the other technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, which are again very fascinating technologies, but the key differentiation is that AI and blockchain are more back-end technologies, while AR and VR are in front displays to the consumer, which is really exciting. If you see this has the potential to bring in an amazing revolution both for industries as well as consumer companies. So that's to me that's very exciting, and we'll cover a lot of these aspects about AR and VR. To start with, let me also introduce my company and what we do. So as I said, we are into AR and VR. We develop a consumer augmented reality and augmented reality on smartphones as well as glasses, which help various clients across the globe, across industries like manufacturing, retail, healthcare, etc. We work on a number of platforms like Unity, ARKit, ARCore, Unreal Engine, Wikitude, etc. And apart from consumer apps, we do a lot of work on industrial training as well, wherein the training modules that we develop for our clients have seen a revenue rate increases of 46%. And even more exciting is that we are able to reduce accidents on the shop floor through our technology by 83%, which is phenomenally high. So I'll talk a little bit more about how that happens in the slides to come. This is a small plug of one of our testimonials from a client in Taiwan who got a training module developed from us. And some of the clients we work with, some amazing names out there. But I'll quickly come to what augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality is. So if you see this slide, guys, I've quickly turned up a small Venn diagram for you, which essentially uh, tells you what augmented reality is. So if you look at the term closely, augmented means extended. Uh, to increase something. So by augmented reality, what I mean is increasing my reality, extending my reality. And how do I do that? First aspect is I should be able to combine virtual with the real. So if I can bring virtual items or digital items, so to say, into my physical reality, that would be step one. Then whatever digital modules or digital assets I bring to my reality, if I can align them if I can align the 3D aspect of it with my 3D reality, uh, that's the second step. I should be able to register its form and shape in my reality. And finally, I should be able to interact with it as well. I should be able to do something with this virtual item which I have placed in my reality. And then I can say, with these three steps, I can say that I have augmented my reality. Coming to so that's aspect one, what augmented reality is. Now augmented reality can then be extended to a virtual reality and mixed reality as well. So while as I said, augmented reality is extending my physical reality, you would have seen examples like Pokemon Go. I'm sure that has been a you all must have seen that game. Everybody has been a user of this game. I think Pokemon Go kind of told the world what augmented reality was all about. And apart from that, Snapchat lenses that you see, Instagram 3D filters, if you see, all these are augmented reality examples. Now, what is virtual reality? In virtual reality, I am not extending any physical world. What I'm doing is I'm creating my own physical world, which is virtual only. So, in virtual reality, I require a small apparatus which I call a head-mounted display. Okay, this is a virtual reality headset which the user has to wear on his eyes, and everything inside this, all the visual aspects is created by a developer. So everything is virtually created, and hence this is called virtual reality. When you wear these glasses, everything that you see, it's so immersive and so experiential that you kind of forget what's around you, you forget your physical world, and you completely immerse into the experience. And if you are creative, if you are imaginative, you can imagine the immense possibilities with this. We can completely create a new world for the user. We can take him to newer places, give him newer experiences. So it has endless possibilities. And finally, coming to what mixed reality is. So again, as the term suggests, it's a mix of augmented and virtual reality. Now, in place of virtual reality head-mounted displays, if I wear an augmented reality head-mounted display, so these are headsets which have a sort of a glass in front. So they enable me to see my physical world, and it also enables me to overlay virtual aspects, virtual assets in front of me. So again, like I was creating augmented reality through my smartphones, I'm creating augmented reality through a head-mounted display, and hence this is called mixed reality. This again has immense potential, especially with amazing headsets by Microsoft called HoloLens, and some other Epson, Vuzix, etc. We'll come to what we can do with these glasses in the next slides. Another very important aspect of augmented reality is native AR versus web AR. Now, native AR is when you can install an application on your smartphone, and when you run it, you can get augmented reality experiences. And as compared to this is a web AR experience wherein you don't have to install or deploy any application. You can just open your browser, open a link, open a URL in your browser, and you can experience augmented reality right from your browser itself. You did not have to install anything. So native versus web both have their own set of advantages and disadvantages. If we compare them, see, because native kind of sits on your phone, a lot of assets have already been downloaded. And secondly, native AR is being developed by some amazing companies for the last so many years. It's a far more mature platform today. If you compare that with web AR has only recently come up. It's not as mature as a native AR, but today there are amazing possibilities with web AR as well. If you see how you can develop any application, so let's say if you are a business who wants to get an application developed, or you are a developer, or you are a CTO of a company, you're looking to do something with these technologies. For web AR, you can try out AR.js and Eighth Wall kind of platform. AR.js is a JavaScript-based framework, while Eighth Wall is a wrapper on top of 3JS, ARJS kind of JavaScript frameworks, and it gives you a more drag and drop kind of functionality with which you can create augmented reality. And for native AR and VR, you can use platforms like Unity 3D, Unreal Engine, ARKit for iPhones, ARCore for your Android phones. Moving on, again, it's a fun slide which I included. It's good to know the history of AR and VR and where it all started. So way back in the 1960s, it started with a gentleman called Evan Sutherland, and he created a very interesting, kind of physical apparatus called a Sword of Damocles. A very primitive form of VR, of course, but what it did was, he hung the apparatus which a user had to wear, and it at that time it gave a very the feel of being surrounded by reality, an alternate reality to the user. This was the first form of VR way back in 1968. And in 1974, again, a gentleman called Myron Kruger, he was actually considered the first AR VR researcher, AR VR computer scientist, so to say. And he created, a computer-controlled light and sound environment wherein users' shadows used to interact with them based on some gestures that they were doing. So it was an interesting time, and it was how AR and VR started way back. And then coming in the 90s, NASA experimented with AR and VR for their spacecrafts. NFL very famously had training VR for their players. Volkswagen also had an application for in which they created their car manuals on augmented reality. So people did not have to carry or take physical manuals. Everything could be seen from augmented reality itself. Very primitive form again, way back in 1990s. Now we see far more advanced AR and VR. Okay, so we'll quickly go through some of the market statistics, and these will be very important for the entrepreneurs out there who want to get into this market and kind of find out what the potential is. So if you see this graph quickly, in 2019, last year, the AR market was about $20 billion. And next year, it is projected to be close to $200 billion, which is an amazing jump. And even if you were to only take, even if you were to only take the augmented reality and virtual reality headset shipment market, headset shipments and revenue, you would see that 2021 is predicted to have a close to 100 million headsets which will be shipped, and it will generate revenues of close to $70 billion in 2021 itself. So you can see the amazing potential there. And as we talked about 10 minutes ago, it's not only do the figures say that it's an amazing market, you can imagine it yourself, because this is a new sort of display that has come for consumers. It is set to disrupt a lot of industries. And again, to bring my point home, I'll show you a few popular examples. Let's quickly see this video, which shows you how augmented reality is being used by stadiums these days, how they are telling people about what they have to offer. Just see a quick video here.
You made it. Welcome. the premiere of 40 Yards of Gold. I can tell you this, all of you are in for a special treat. This will be like nothing you've ever seen before. We have some of the fastest football players that can put them up and put them down like no other, warming up inside. Gods of speed. So who do you got? Be honest with yourself. Offense or defense? Who's your favorite? I know I look good, but there's no need to continue looking at me. Get inside.
Okay, so imagine yourself. I mean, you go to you go to watch a match. You go for a game, football, cricket, basketball, and you are welcomed inside the stadium with this. How awesome the experience would be. So that's one. Then I'm sure you would have seen the augmented reality navigation, which Google Maps has these days. They haven't, I think they haven't rolled it out for all the cities, but many of the cities now have an augmented reality based navigation on Google Maps. Then again, Royal Canadian Navy is testing augmented reality for maintenance and repair work on their ships. And this is a prime example of augmented reality classes based functionalities. How this is done is the repairer or the worker wears these AR glasses, and while repairing any piece of machinery, he sees everything about that piece of machinery and all the nuts and bolts, all the wiring, etc., overlaid on top of the glass in front of him. So he does not have to take his eye off from the machinery and go to a physical manual anywhere else. He gets all the process requirements, process steps in front of him while executing these steps. How amazing that is! And imagine how productive a worker can become with something like this. This is, to me, this sounds like extending our capabilities as human beings. So to me, that sounds very exciting. Uh, then Shutterstock, which is again a very famous consumer app for images, now lets you overlay those images on augmented reality on top of your walls, on top of surfaces, and you can see how those images would look as if they were some wall paintings. So it gives you a more precise kind of visualization, so to say. So these were some common examples. I'll come to specific ones now. Especially, let's get into how augmented and virtual reality are helping retail industry. And see, I'm sure you all of you know the problems with retail and e-commerce, especially e-retail. I'm talking about. It has always faced problems due to a visualization of what I am buying. Now, you don't face this problem when you're buying books online or when you're buying mobiles online, but you face this problem when you're buying furniture online or you're buying clothes online, you're buying shoes online. You don't know how that a piece of furniture would look in your room. You don't exactly know how that a t-shirt would look on you, although you see the color, although you see that it's size large or small, but you don't know how this will look on you. So visualization has always been a problem, and that's why you see a lot of returns in e-commerce. And if we solve this visualization part, I believe a lot of those losses due to returns should be solved. So to give you an example, I'll again quickly take you to a small video. And this is a video of a furniture retail platform that we have developed. So this is a platform with which furniture companies can integrate our platform inside their mobile application and bring on an augmented reality based experience for their users. Just take a quick look on this, guys.
Welcome to the world of experiential buying. How amazing would it be when your customer can see how a couch looks in their room before buying? And that too, without having to visit your furniture store at all. Introducing the new augmented reality platform by Queplin. Easily convert your mobile app into a wonderland. With this, your customer has to just scan, select, and place to try and buy. No more disappointing purchases or incorrect sizes. Pure comfort and pleasure. Simply magic. Queplin has been recognized as a
Okay, so I'll quickly come back to the presentation here. Yeah, so with this, you can, as I said, quickly visualize how a furniture item would look inside your room. You want to buy a new table, you want to buy a new piece of chair, and you want to visualize how. And not only visualize, if you also, let's say you're buying a couch, you want to see if it fits in the space that you have. You can do this with augmented reality now. So again, you're not getting into disappointing purchases anymore. Similarly, we've created this platform with which you can try shoes on right from where you are. And guys, see, this becomes increasingly more important in the due to the current environment as well. Post this COVID situation, the world's not going to be the same. People would be shy of visiting uh, physical stores. People would not want to do that. They would be avoiding that, and they would want to kind of buy as much as possible. They would want to buy online. So, and I see a lot of market for such activities from now on. And hence, this platform with which you can buy shoes, you can just simply scan your feet. It exactly kind of knows what your shoe size would be, and you can try on various different kind of shoes with this, and your buying experience is far more streamlined. Similarly, there are platforms which have done really well. Of course, Sephora is a very big brand name across a few countries, and it has launched an AR app with which girls can try on different makeup items and see how they would look with that makeup item, and then buy. So this is an interesting example of how technology can be interesting as well as useful. So if you look at the advantages, again, you reduce returns, and finally you reduce losses for e-commerce companies, and you streamline your purchasing process a lot more than it used to be. Quickly coming on to manufacturing, guys, and before we get into it, let me tell you what the problems there are in manufacturing in the current scenario. So what happens is, imagine a factory wherein people are working with heavy machinery, and with heavy machinery they are building more machinery, right? And imagine how difficult the whole environment is. You can get so anything can hurt you there, because this is again there are drill machines there, and if you don't handle them well, the situation can be dangerous. And if you see the figures, there are thousands of fatalities that happen across shop floors in various factories across the globe. And so one is that, of course, and there hasn't been a concrete answer to how you would reduce it. And secondly, costs as well. Companies put a lot of cost in training their workforce, and there hasn't been an answer to how you can reduce those training costs as well. While everybody understands that training is a very important aspect, but costs again are very high. And then finally, to analyze the performance of the shop floor manufacturer or the shop floor worker, you need a trainer who gives him some sample work or some analysis work, and then finds out how well he performs that job. So there is no technological answer to that yet before AR. Now, how can we solve this with virtual reality? Let me give you a quick example. With a training platform on virtual reality, what we've achieved is this. Let me show you a quick video. This is for uh, a company which manufactures these fiber optic cables, and these fiber optic cables are then overlaid on the ocean floor, and they have a lot of workers who have to work on the boxes which these fiber optic cables are fit into. They wanted to train their employees, and this is the solution that we came up for them. Just give it a quick view. This gives you the instructions in the virtual environment. On the left hand side, you see our teammate performing the actions, and on the right hand panel, you see the virtual environment in the virtual reality headset. So he is kind of opening the box, looking at various assets inside the box, and the instructions are laid on top of these as well. So as I said, this makes your trainings one. This makes your trainings far more streamlined and far more cost effective as well. With one head-mounted display, you can train so many people. Otherwise, you would have required to have a team of trainers who would take a lot of time to train these train your workforce. Apart from that, you can also digitally assess performances as well. You can give digital examinations on the virtual reality headset itself, and the machine itself judges how well a worker is performing these tasks. And what you can also do is, once you analyze their performance, you can kind of align them to different parts of your shop floor, different parts of your manufacturing unit, where everybody's potential comes out really well. So this is where VR trainings really help you. Apart from that, product maintenance. You can install various IoT devices throughout your shop floor, and the data that comes from these devices can be patched up with a virtual reality headset, and you can maintain your product accordingly. Similarly, there's a lot of product development that VR enables from now on. Earlier, what used to happen was you would develop something, create a physical model of it, and then if you were to change anything, you have to do it all over again. Now you can create 3D modules, simulate them in your virtual reality headset itself, and optimize on the product development right from there. Then there is remote assistance and work instructions. There is design and overlaying of 3D models on physical machines. Let me give you a quick example of how that is done. So there's another plant for which we've created a VR environment, and two things that we achieve from this is one, the marketing guys can take this VR material and show to clients, and secondly, a lot of trainings of the workforce is also done through this VR headset material itself. Let me show you how this is done. So this is a biogas plant for which we created a training environment. And if you see, you enter the factory. Let's say you park your car here, and when you get inside, you see the power distribution center. You see where the coolers are or the compressors. You can go inside. You can watch how a machinery performs, and you can see how the chiller functions, how the air compression works inside a factory, and all your workforce can be trained with this. I've quickly taken out a render from a laptop, but if you imagine this inside a virtual reality headset, it is as good as being there. You would not even see a difference. That is the power of virtual reality. Okay, so you get the point, right? Let me quickly come back to the presentation. So we've covered this, we've seen this video. Yeah, and coming to how AR helps marketing and entertainment. And this is a very special use case for AR specifically, more than virtual reality or AR glasses. This is for augmented reality through your smartphones. A lot of brands these days, want to, they are okay to invest a lot of money on, but they want to get a new kind of an experience for their users. People have done TVCs or television commercials since ages. People have been doing print media ads since ages, and digital ads, of course, on Google and various websites since ages. Branding, you see, display boards, hoardings on the roads. That has been done and dusted for a long, long time. And now brands want to do something new. How can they attract their users with with something that is more immersive in nature, something with which users can interact as well? You cannot interact with a display board on the road. You cannot interact with a television commercial. Can there be something with which you can interact? Here's the answer, guys. Look at this video. Uh, this is uh, this is a platform that we've created with which a lot of companies are now creating their marketing material. Give it a quick look.
See, there are 5 coasters. We have 5 coasters, and when we scan each of them, some object will augment. Okay, so now when we talk about the first coaster, you can see. Now scan the different. This JCB. Now when we scan real estate, it comes up to be the floor plan. You can see this is for medical purposes. This is a heart. And this is for kids' education purposes.
Okay, and so this was for marketing, guys. Similarly, there can be use cases for entertainment. Uh, this is a very small video I have for you for one of our. This is what we've created for one of our clients. So right here you see a Spider-Man. So this is our office, and you can see a Spider-Man inside this. And similarly, you can have any 3D object that you would want to place here. And so this is a game that we've created. There can be any other use cases, any other entertainment form factors that you would want to fit inside this augmented reality. Coming back to the presentation. Okay, so I think I've covered most of the use cases. I'll quickly take you through this. There are more use cases in the pharma sector for mixed reality, wherein you wear a AR glass and all the SOPs and all the processes come right in front of you when you are conducting any experiments, or a scientist is conducting any experiment in the labs. There are navigation systems on AR glasses, so on and so forth. A very interesting use case which I really like a lot is a remote assistance for cars and for vehicles. This is on augmented reality for smartphones. Let's say you are driving and your car breaks down, and in the middle of nowhere you don't have a mechanic, right? So what you can do with this application is you can open the car's bonnet, and maybe you don't know what each part is, so you can quickly scan through your smartphone, and it tells you what each part is, and then a concurrent stream with expert somewhere else can guide you about each part and what you should be checking for the fault. So see guys, this is where technology is going to help you in every aspect of your life. So we've covered most of these scenarios. I'll quickly jump on to a distribution of use cases in terms of benefit versus complexity. This is a quick guide on, I'm not sure whether you can see the screen completely, if you can read this or not, because there's a lot of data on this. Analysis, if you can see, there is an X and Y axis for complexity versus benefit. You see the x-axis is for the benefits, while the y-axis is for your complexity. So if you go higher up, complexity is decreasing. If you go towards your right, the benefit is increasing. So top right quarter is wherein you find use cases which are least complex in comparison to the others and have the highest benefit. And because they are least complex and have the highest benefit, they become must-do cases for the industry today. Already, 20% of manufacturers have started implementing these must-do use cases, wherein you can see virtual design assessments. As we discussed, you can create designs in virtual reality and assess those before creating a physical model of this. So this becomes far more scalable, especially if your teams are at different geographical locations. One is this. Then you can have virtual powertrain assembly training as well. So this we already discussed, wherein for those of you who don't know what a powertrain is, a powertrain is wherein all the different assets of a machinery are assembled on the shop floor. So on a powertrain, there can be different substations and different people working on different substations. And let's say on substation one part is assembled, it goes to substation 2, another part is assembled, so on and so forth. Now you can do virtual reality based training for all the workers on various substations. See, I'll give you a quick example. One of our clients manufactures heavy machinery. What happens is they have about 56 substations on their powertrain, and if there is a fault, if there is a misplaced part, let's say on substation 35, you don't get to know a fault right then and there. Till substation 56, the whole machinery is done. Only after that you get to know that there is a fault, and then you have to backtrack all the substations. It wastes time, it wastes money, and that's a case that could have been solved through technology, and virtual reality training is the answer to that. Now you can train your workforce according to each substation and place them at the right segment so that they make minimum of mistakes. And of course, apart from that, the reduction in fatalities is the biggest advantage that you get through virtual reality trainings. Moving on to a couple of other must-do use cases. Again, these are some of the manufacturing use cases which people are using. Specific components of a. So recently we did a VR project for a petroleum company who have created a VR uh, module for internal combustion engine, and specific components of the internal combustion engine of that internal combustion engine is being studied by their engineers. So these are some specific use cases, and if you also combine IoT components in this, there is a lot that you can achieve through virtual reality in manufacturing. And finally, some utility aspects of this. You can create 360-degree views of your walkthroughs. This is needed by your marketing team a lot. You can create those 3D spaces which your marketing team can take to the client and show it to them. So your clients do not have to visit your physical location anymore. You can take a virtual reality headset to them, and they can see the shop floor right then and there. Okay, so with this, I have quickly covered, I think, a lot of aspects which I'm hopeful have been beneficial for you. And I'll open the forum for a quick Q&A. If you guys have any questions, you can quickly put it on to your chat window, and I'll be happy to answer, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, Rahul is asking, is there any size limitation on 3D models for creating a VR experience? For instance, a GB petrochemical plant 3D model. Rahul, that's a good question. See, there can be limitations based on what use case and what platform you want to put this AR on. If you are creating augmented reality on smartphones, you would need to create low poly. Creating, however, for VR experiences, you can create a very high resolution or a very high poly 3D asset. There will not be a lot of limitation on that. You can create as high as you want and can become a very lifelike experience on a virtual reality headset. So I don't think there would be any size limitations as such. You would not be restricted by this. Surbhi is asking, can augmented reality help us in marketing our retail chains? In other words, will it add value to our current customers whom we want to retain? And more importantly, will it help in attracting new customers? Yes, yes, and yes, Surbhi. That's a great question. And to all those questions, my answer is yes. I'll tell you why. So first, you're asking, can it help you market your retail chains? We've covered e-retail or e-commerce augmented reality. If you can give your customers more visualization of the different SKUs that you're selling, and especially if it falls in the segment of furniture, clothes, or shoes, your customers would be far more engaged with your platform, and they will trust your platform a lot because now they can visualize what they are buying. So you attract a lot more customers, and you attract a lot more revenue through those customers as well. So if you're asking that, will it add value to your current customers? Of course, yes. But think of yourself. If you're buying a T-shirt, and if you can try it on through augmented reality on the e-commerce app itself, you'll make a far more you know a purchase which will be far more beneficial to you. You'll be more interested in buying something like this. Okay, Amir Lal is asking, is there any training available in learning Q&A? Amir Lal, I'm sure there is a lot of training material out there, but what kind of training do you ask? There are various aspects. You might require training in creating 3D visualizations, or this could be training for augmented reality platforms wherein you bring those 3D material into your reality. So in that case, in the first case, you would be training on platforms like Max, Maya, Blender, etc. In the second case, you would be training on Unity, Unreal Engine, Wikitude, so on and so forth. So you'll have to be a little more specific about your question and what exact aspect you want to learn. But there is a lot of training material out there. Darshit is asking, is there any way to reduce the cost of AR glasses and headsets? Darshit, there are AR glasses available out there across cost spectrum. So while there are HoloLens 2 kind of hardware, which is towards the extreme end of being expensive, you have other AR glasses like Vuzix and Epson, which are not as costly. But if you ask how can the cost be reduced, I'm sure this cost will drastically reduce as AR glasses become more mainstream and there is more consumer adoption of this. They will reduce in cost. Think of it as smartphones, right? Smartphones were far more out of reach when they started, but now it's well within reach for everyone. It's not as expensive anymore. So yeah, there you go. Nuli Venkatesh is asking, everything about VR and AR sounds cool, but don't you think the visual quality right now we are having is too low, which is the main reason the general public doesn't show interest? What are your thoughts on that? Nuli, I don't think it is restricted due to visual quality. I think it is restricted due to a couple of other things. One is hardware capabilities. Till now, there were not a lot of smartphones who were compatible to AR and VR. This is changing fast, and when I say fast, it is changing at a lightning speed. More and more hardware is coming on board with for augmented reality. The underlying platforms, the AR cores for Android and ARKit for iPhone is becoming very, very powerful. ARKit very recently launched LiDAR capabilities, which is amazing. You can do occlusion with ARKit now. So as in how the possibilities with AR increase, the consumer adoption will increase as well. There's a you are right when it comes to virtual reality, but then again, it's not the quality. The quality is phenomenal. It's limited by the use cases. People haven't started. Consumers, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about industries. Consumers, the retail consumer, your average homeowner, he's not buying as much of virtual reality today because of the cost. But as we talked about it, the costs will reduce drastically in the next 1 or 2 years. My belief is come 2021, 2022 at max, and you would see a huge adoption of virtual reality or augmented reality headsets to be more specific. Uh, I'm waiting for Apple glasses to come out as well. That will be a life changing event for the industry. I hope that answers your question. Divakar Rao is asking, do we have any layout or UI design for AR? Any references? Please share. A lot of references, Divakar. You can write to me. I'll give out my email ID at the end of the webinar. You can write to me and I'll share some reference material. Museb is asking, what type of mainstream head-mounted displays are available? So if you're asking about VR head-mounted displays, Museb, you have your Oculus, you have your HTC Vives. These are extremely popular. There was Google Cardboard as well, but Google has stopped manufacturing those anymore because the real VR headsets have kind of are becoming more mainstream. So yeah, if you're thinking of buying one, go for an Oculus or an HTC Vive. Both have their own sets of advantages, but you can find out more over the internet, or you can write to us as well. Jatin is asking, hi, I want to know, does Queplin offer a custom solution or is it a ready-made solution that it offers? Jatin, it's both. We have ready-made solutions for retail and manufacturing. As I showed you, we have products available, platforms available for furniture retail, augmented reality, or shoe try-ons. We have platforms for industrial training, virtual reality. So these are off-the-shelf products that you can buy from us. We do custom solutions as well, according to whatever your requirement is. We've been providing these custom solutions to a lot of industry, a lot of corporates out there across the globe. So yeah, so both is the answer. Divakar is asking what would be the timeline for delivery of an AR app. Divakar, that completely depends on what you want to create. It could range from anywhere from a month and a half to 2 years. Uh, we've done all sort of projects. It will completely depend on what your requirement is. If you want my team to analyze your requirement in more detail, you can write to us as well. I will give out my email shortly. Amir Lal is asking also, can you talk about the costing? Amir Lal, as I answered Divakar, it completely depends on what your application or platform is. Costing and timelines completely depend on that. If you want more details, you can write to us. I'll shortly give out my email ID. You can write directly to me, and we'll be happy to answer all of your questions based on your application requirements. Nick is asking, how do you choose a platform for developing apps, Unity versus Unreal? That's a very, very good question, Nick. Again, there are different aspects. Unity has its own advantages, which is it has a lot more developer base available. Unity is a gaming engine along with being an AR engine, so you can do a lot with that. While Unreal is extremely powerful, it builds an extremely close to reality kind of an experience. While the developer base for Unreal is much more limited as compared to Unity. Divakar is asking, is native AR or web AR lead future opportunities? Hello, guys, can you hear me? Guys, just shout, give me a yes or no. Somebody just said that I'm not audible. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Could one of you shout out a yes if you can hear me? Okay, thanks, Nuri. Thank you so much. So yeah, so where was I? I just answered Nick's question. Divakar, is native or web AR lead opportunities? I didn't understand. Is native AR or web AR lead future? Um, Divakar, I am very excited about web AR. See, there's a distinct advantage of web AR, which is that you don't have to download or deploy or install anything. Everybody has a browser. You open your browser and you're good to go. So it has a lot of potential. Uh, so in but again, it will always be limited in terms of functionality, how much you can achieve. So it is more industrial in nature. You will have to go native. If it is more consumer oriented or more entertainment marketing specific, I think web AR would be the future. Amelal is asking, and what are the devices available for VR? Oculus is there, HTC Vive is there. For augmented reality glasses, you have Vuzix, you have Epson, you have Microsoft HoloLens 2. And for augmented reality, you have smartphones like, of course, iPhones, high-end Android phones, etc. Museb is asking, in which industry is VR mostly applied? Museb, so many. It's in manufacturing, it's in healthcare, it's in defense. A lot of these. Rahul, is there any preference for platform between Unity and Unreal Engine? Rahul, I just answered that question. See, Unity has its own advantages while Unreal has its own. It completely depends on what you have to do, what your use case is. If there is any specific anything specific that you want to create, do write to us and we'll analyze your requirements and we can then suggest to you whether Unity or Unreal is the answer for you. Amirlal is asking cheap or best for basic start. Amirlal, again, I don't know whether you're talking about AR on smartphones or glasses or VR. Could you be a little more specific, please? Rahul, for developing AR apps, is there a question? If you're asking for developing AR apps, I think if it's the first time you are doing it, you should try out Unity. Unity for native or for web AR. If you more flexibility and you higher end work, you want to go for ARJS. Otherwise, Eighth Wall would be far easier. Darshit, yeah, right. Correct, Darshit. I agree with you. In future, this cost will reduce. Thanks, Darshit. Nick, the technology looks good but expensive too. Any comments on that? You're right, Niket. That depends. See, expensive again is a subjective matter. If you are a large corporate who wants to train their staff, it's not expensive because you are getting far better results in terms of production. Your workforce is producing far better results, far effective results for you. If you are a marketeer, you are getting far more engaging content for your users, content with which your users can engage with your brand, which was not possible till now. So people would be buying more of your products. So it's not expensive. It's like saying if you are a social media, would you say that developing a mobile app is expensive for you? Well, it is, but it's getting you users, right? At the end of the day, it's increasing your revenues. So there you go. Nick saying, I'm into restaurant business and a tech enthusiast too. How can this technology help me? Oh, a lot of stuff, Nick. If I'll give you an example. Let's say you are a restaurant owner. Your potential customer is sitting at home, and they open your application and they can see the dishes in front of them through their smartphone. It's not like going through a normal menu on a smartphone. You can interact with the dish itself. You can see it in real life what the dish looks like. That's far more engaging. And now imagine how likely would this person be to order from you. So, and in your application, once the user visualizes this, they can directly book a table at your restaurant or order from your restaurant. Think of these scenarios. Or even if when somebody visits your restaurant, if they can kind of see the dish in real life on their table even before ordering, it becomes far more engaging for them, and hence this technology can really help you. Okay. Musaib is asking, how can our company differentiate thanks to VR? Differentiate in what, Musaib? I did not understand your question completely, but if you're asking about virtual reality, couple of things. If you are an industry, you create a differentiated training for your workforce. If you're a consumer company, let's say for an example, I don't know what your company does, but let's say you're into pharmaceuticals, you're in the healthcare industry. You can create virtual reality based meditations, and so your customer would wear those headsets, and you've created a very serene virtual environment for your customers with a simple gamification. Your customer engages with some 3D assets here and there, which helps them focus inside this virtual environment. This becomes very engaging for them, and this helps them focus and completely alienates them from the reality. Hence, gives them a opportunity to meditate. So these are some applications that you might want to think of. Nuli is asking, where is the main revenue for VR and AR in India? See, different aspects. Nuli, VR, don't think of revenue when you're talking of VR. VR is more for industrial approaches, industrial use cases today. So it's not directly bringing you the revenue. It's training your workforce through VR, which at the end of the day makes your processes far more effective and brings you revenue. Augmented reality, on the other hand, can be used for marketing solutions, and with which you can engage your customers more with your brand. And if your brand is what they are engaging with, it becomes a top of the mind recall for them. So when they are buying a product in your domain, they would recall your brand because they have interacted with your brand, and hence your revenues will increase. Jatin, thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, are there any more questions? Thanks, Nuri. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks, Umesh. Nuri is asking, how is the VR and AR market in India performing? What are the major challenges we are facing, we're having right now in the case of revenue, R&D, or quality, etc.? So it's growing, Nuli. It's growing at a very fast pace now. And what I can tell you is, specifically due to this COVID-19 situation, it has accelerated the development of AR, VR with all the social distancing that people have to follow. It will completely change how we live, how we work, and augmented and virtual reality would be an answer to a lot of these questions. So I am very hopeful and very excited to be in the Indian market. Yeah, and of course, you are asking about R&D. A lot of R&D happening as well. I can't answer for other companies, but we invest heavily on R&D in the field. Kanika is asking, I saw a demo on LinkedIn where people interact over VR meetings. Why is that not very prominent? You will see this coming in prominence from now on, Kanika, because we are also creating such platforms for a blue chip company, and we are getting a lot many other requests to build this. As I said, all because of this COVID situation, people want to be in VR meetings from now on. You will see this coming into prominence now. Yes, Manoj, I'll quickly share my email ID. Guys, a lot of you are asking my email ID. I'll quickly share this on the whiteboard. I hope you are able to see this. The font's very small. Yeah. Guys, can you see this? Sorry. Sorry. This is. Hey, thanks, Nick. Yes, Rahul, we are recording this as well. Guys, can you see my email ID on your screens? It's p@queplintech.com. Guys, let me quickly write my email ID here as well. Now you would get it in the comments section, in the chat section. Can you see my email ID? Or why is it doing a dot everywhere? Sorry. Let me type again. Yeah, this is the corrected one. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks a lot. This is my email ID, p@queplintech.com. Write to me for any queries if you want to analyze, if you want us to analyze your business requirements, if there's anything we can help you with, do write to us. Stay safe and take care, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming for our webinar. Thank you so much and take care. Bye-bye. Thanks all of you for all the good comments. Thank you. Thanks, Nuri. Thanks, Gaurav. Bye, guys. Bye. 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 Great to have you. Great to have you. Thanks. Bye, Gaurav. Yes, Neelam, we'll share the video as well. It'll be available on our YouTube channel. We'll have a recorded session on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Queplin. It'll be, I'll write it down for you. It'll be available here. Yeah. Thanks, Nuli. Okay, thanks, Mac. Thanks, Shubham, for putting up the webinar. Thank you so much. Okay, I should sign off the session now. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye bye.